We call them Cherokee warriors, the men who fought for the United States in World War II and the Korean War. 11 of those veterans say they were honored to be chosen to go on this year's warrior flight to Washington, D.C. And we're honored to share their stories with you.
When they contacted me about this particular flight, I told them, I said, well, you know, I'd love to go.
This trip is something I've looked forward to for a while. It means a lot to me.
My name is Charles Scott, and I was in World War II.
W.C. Chamberlain. I was in World War II.
Served in the Navy in 1944 to 1946. I was in the Philippines on a cargo ship. After they dropped the bombs, of course, the war was over, and they told us to unload everything there on the docks and come home.
I was in the Navy for 4 years and in World War II from 1942 until 1946. I grew up a lot, you know, as most young kids do that join the service like that when they're young.
I had a dad, he was World War I veteran, and he had 7 boys, and every one of those boys went to the military. 4 in World War II and 3 in Korea, and 4 brothers are on this trip. I think that's quite a tribute to my dad. I'm proud to be a veteran.
We have some very special customers on board this aircraft today. We have some veterans from the Korean War and the World War II, and we would like to honor them today if we could by letting them board first. And thank you very much for your service to our country.
I was in the Army Air Force. That was before there was ever a regular Air Force. I was in France 21 days after D-Day. There was a patrol of 5 of us that was sent to the center of Paris. They told us to see if they fired at us. I thought, well, that seems to be an indication of how much expendable we are. It's probably a 2-mile walk, and that was the most eerie thing that I ever went through. But we took pictures of the Arc de Triomphe there, and I think I got the names of all 5 in that patrol. I just can't imagine a society putting up with what Hitler managed to accomplish. It had to happen. Everybody had to pull in unison to take care of the situation. I can't tell you what it felt like. We knew that everybody was going.
The new World War II memorial is something that you'll never forget.
I thought that it would be just a good thing to do, to come back and see the memorials and see the shipmates' names that was on the memorial that had lost their lives.
This trip, it means a lot to me. There was 4 of us went and 2 came back. My older brother and I were the ones that came back. My younger brother was, the last time I saw him, he was in high school. He was shot down over Linz, Austria, and I had a letter from my older brother that there were no parachutes, and he went up and took care of his belongings. But I will be looking.
It's just a lot of history, and I enjoy seeing this history.
I think it's very important to memorialize those military incidents.
My only son was killed in Vietnam. He got killed in 1972. My son's name is Edward Burnett. He's on that memorial, you know.
All of those memorials like that, I think is very important. It's history. I mean, we can't ignore our history. If the young kids have an opportunity to go view them, to visit them. I don't know how many families nowadays take their children to those types of things, but I would hope that they do. And these types of memorials are things that keep that alive.
Our generation was, everybody was involved in the war, and had to be. I would think that the world leaders would at least be able to absorb enough of the history of the catastrophe that World War II was to keep from having something like that again.